Hi, my lovelies. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. So today we are going to be talking about the difference between a full or partial wedding planner versus a wedding coordinator. So if you want to see what the difference is between the two, keep on watching. All right, guys. So this whole wedding series going to be talking about different aspects of the actual planning a wedding. And a lot of times people are not aware that there are two different types of coordinators and a planner. And there is a big difference. So what I'm going to do today is tell you the difference between the two so that you'll be well informed of the difference between the two going into planning your wedding. Okay? So the day of the coordinator is more so the one that a lot of brides tend to go for. And the reason why they prefer a wedding coordinator because they're just needing to be there maybe like a month or two before the wedding starts. And the reason why a lot of brides prefer just a wedding coordinator is because a lot of brides want to be actually in control of everything, and that's okay. You want to make sure that your personalities is matching for everything down to the table arrangements, the colors, the dresses, the tuxedos, and things of that nature. So therefore, the day of the coordinator only comes in only comes in a month or two prior to the actual wedding. Now, the day of the coordinator basically oversees a timeline of the wedding weekend. They're basically there to ensure that the photographer knows where to be, what time to be. They're there to make sure that the caterer knows where to be, what time to be. The DJ, the decorator, the lighting, all of that. The day of the coordinator will just basically contact all of the vendors at least a month in advance to ensure that all of the vendors know exactly what time to be there and where to be. Also, the coordinator will do more like a walkthrough of the venue. Walk through the church or wherever you're having your wedding at, either it's a park, if you're doing it outside at the beach or what have you. The coordinator will basically do a walkthrough of the actual venue as to wherever your wedding will be held so that they'll actually be familiar with where everything is, so the day of they won't be fumbling around and they'll actually be acclimated with the area that they'll be working in. Okay. Another thing that the wedding coordinator basically does is go over the rehearsal day. They're basically, at this point, they're actually the head person in charge. It's no longer the bride responsibility, it's now the coordinator. So the coordinator will make sure that everybody lines up correctly wherever you are having your wedding at. The coordinator will make sure that the bridesmaids, the groomsmen understand exactly what time to be at the church. They're lined up correctly at the front. Make sure that when they get to the reception, make sure that they know exactly where to sit. Make sure that the guests know exactly where they need to be seated. Make sure, everybody is aware to where they need to be, what time they need to be there, and how long they're going to be there, and things of that nature. So therefore, the wedding coordinator will also oversee the wedding rehearsal. The coordinator will also need to go over the wedding program with the officiant, along with the bride and the groom, to ensure that the wedding outline is exactly to the T how the bride and the groom wants it. The coordinator is there from the beginning until the end. They're there from the beginning, from the time that the bride wakes up until the actual tear down of the tables and chairs of the actual reception. That's what a wedding coordinator does, is just the day of coordinator. They're actually coordinating all of the events, all of the time frames and things of that nature. Also, the coordinator has to be organized. They need to have they have to have some type of organized mechanism. They need to know exactly where the groomsmen are at all times. They need to know exactly where the groomsmen are, all of the bridesmaids. They need to know exactly where the officiant is, the bride's mothers, the bride's father, the groom's mother, the groom's father. They'll basically need to make sure that they know exactly where everyone is at all times. So if anything goes wrong, God forbid, the wedding coordinator will be the one to actually, she'll be able to want to track everybody down. If there are any unforeseen mishaps that may have happened, that is the coordinator's responsibility to make sure that that is taken care of. On the day of, the bride does not need any stress at all. This is the time for the bride to be shining like a diamond. So therefore, the coordinator will need to handle all mishaps. The coordinator will be handling all time frames. The coordinator will be handling everything behind the scenes and will not be bringing any of that to the bride's attention. So make sure that whenever you're going to look for a wedding coordinator, that they have great organizational skills as well. Now, the wedding coordinator does cost a little bit less than an actual full or partial wedding planner. So make sure whenever you're going to look for an actual wedding coordinator, you want to ask them some questions. Question number 1, how accessible are you? From the time that you book a wedding coordinator, you want to know exactly how accessible are they going to be to you. Are you going to be able to answer my calls? Are you going to be able to answer my text messages? Do I have to contact you through email? Like how accessible are you going to be? Number 2, when do we start talking? Once you decide that this is the person that you feel like you're going to mesh well, you're going to be able to get along well, they're going to be an actual great wedding coordinator for you, you want to definitely ask, well, how soon can we start talking? How soon can I start giving you my vendors information, and things of that nature? And number 3, most importantly, what type of experience do they have? You definitely want to ensure that the wedding coordinator knows exactly what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, it's going to show. So make sure you ask the wedding coordinator the day of the wedding coordinator, how much of experience do they have? Ask them to give them a rundown as to what your wedding weekend looks like. Okay, so that's basically what a wedding coordinator, the day of wedding coordinator does. Now, for those brides who want a full or a partial wedding planner, that is something a little bit different. And the reason why I say that, because a wedding planner, a full wedding planner or a partial wedding planner, it is very complicated. And the reason why I say it's complicated, because this is someone that actually is going to take on everything for you. This is a planner. This planner is basically for those brides and grooms who just don't have the time to actually go check out the colors, to go look at the venues, to go look at this and go look at that. The wedding planner basically makes everything happen, makes everything roll into play. Also, a full or a partial wedding planner basically is for those brides or grooms who just aren't that nifty in weddings. They don't know where to start. They don't know who to contact. They have no one accessible as far as, they don't even know where to start. They have no clue. They don't know the nicks and the crannies and things of that nature as far as planning a wedding. So that is really recommended for the bride and groom for a full or partial wedding planner. Also, the wedding planner sets up taste testing for the caterers. They actually schedule the taste testings. They actually attend all the taste testing. They attend all the consultations, if it's down to the florist, if it's down to the DJ. They handle all of the contracts. They actually even handle, when you go to look at your venue, they're there for the entire process. When you say yes to the engagement, that's the part where you actually decide if you want to hire a full or a partial wedding planner, because they are there from the beginning until the end. They're also there to help with the budget. Some people aren't good with budgeting, so therefore a full or a partial wedding planner would basically say, well, hey, they're there to help you set a budget. So therefore, for an example, if you say we have a budget of $10,000, the wedding planner basically says, okay, well, if you have a budget of $10,000, then you may not need to spend X, Y, and Z on the cake because you kind of splurged on something else. You know, that full or that wedding partial planner will be there to kind of guide you financially. Also, the full or partial wedding planner also tells you what to do and when to do it. Prime example, the wedding planner will basically tell you, okay, they'll have a calendar out, and they'll basically the bride and the groom will go over with the wedding planner, and basically have a calendar out, and every month it will be something for you to do. It will be, they'll say, this particular month you need to go ahead and get the girls to order the dresses. This month you need to go ahead and order your programs. This month you need to go ahead and send out your invitations. This month you need to do this. This month, next 2 weeks you need to go ahead and send a payment to this place. They'll be keeping track of everything. They'll be keeping up track with your contracts. They'll keep track of with your receipts, your payments, everything from start to finish. A wedding planner for a full or a wedding planner is not for a couple who has a low budget. Okay, it does cost more because you're having someone to basically be your actual. They're doing everything for you, so therefore it's going to take time. They have to schedule things for you. They have to plan things out for you, as well as their stuff as well. So therefore, it's not for a couple who is on a budget. That's the difference between a full or a partial wedding planner versus the day of wedding coordinator. And as I said it to you before, a lot of brides want their hands in the pot of everything when it comes down to the wedding. I know I was. I wanted to make sure that everything was right. I did not want anybody to do anything for me because I didn't trust anybody else to do it for me, because I wanted to make sure that it was done right. I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it, and I didn't want to trust people. And I know that's kind of bad or sad or what have you, but that was just a personal preference that I had. I wanted my hands in the pot and everything. I wanted my hands in everything. I didn't want anybody making no decisions for me. If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't my suggestion, or it wasn't something I wanted to do or my fiance wanted to do and I didn't know about it, I didn't like that. So therefore, and there are a lot of brides that are like that. They want their hands in the pot with everything, and that's okay. So therefore, that's why I choose just to have a day of wedding coordinator. So therefore, those are just my tips and bits on the difference between a full and a partial wedding planner versus an actual wedding coordinator, or a day of wedding coordinator, however you want to put it. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, my contact information will be down below. And yes, I do assist with wedding planning and wedding coordinations and things of that nature. I will be coming out with different other videos soon of different aspects of the wedding. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Love you very much. God loves you best.